Well, and good evening, children. Good evening, online students.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Okay, regarding the notes which I was supposed to share on WhatsApp, I have not shared the notes completely. I have a few more slides to share. All right. So I think I'll try to finish it by today or maybe tomorrow. So complete, leave if you have you started writing? Okay, so leave some 2-3 pages. It's okay if you leave a page extra. It's okay. Okay, so leave some 2-3 pages extra. If you've already started writing, we need 2-3 pages more. I have to send a few more notes. All right, so leave some pages and then start working today's classwork. All right, children? Yeah. And the formative assessment 1 has already been scheduled. You can take it up anytime before Saturday, but make sure the exam will end on Saturday. The exam ends on Saturday at 6:30 in the evening. That is when you start your second class. Formative assessment 1 will end there. You cannot take it up after that, and I cannot reschedule again. It becomes very inconvenient for me. So finish your formative assessment 1 by the next class on Saturday. Actually, we should have finished it today. So since I scheduled it only, this afternoon, I thought I can, because some of us have started school for 10th standard. So now I cannot ask them to complete it, like as soon as they come from school, they have to finish it and then join the class also. So might not have time. So I did not. So that's the reason why I have given you more time to finish it by Saturday. So that's about the notes which I have to share, and the test which is scheduled for you. I've sent your credentials. Your credentials, all students, it's not the same as 9th standard. You've got your credentials now. Your password is changed. All right. Your password has changed. Yeah, so please, I've sent the credentials to you. So and the URL also, you can see the URL. So you just have to copy that. Okay, fine. If you have any doubt regarding how to take up the test, you can call me. Just before you start the test, just call me. I'll let you know. I'll not talk about that now. Just before you start the test, you can just call me and, get the details as to how to access the exam in the portal. Fine, let's get started with today's class. So now we are getting into the chapter statistics. After the introduction we had yesterday in the warm-up session. Now look at this one. Consider the following frequency distribution. Let's understand the procedure to make the class intervals continuous. So you can see that the class intervals are not continuous here. Online students, I've shared my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so here we have a frequency distribution. You can see the class intervals and the frequencies against that. So we have a frequency distribution. And when you look at the class intervals, they are not continuous. Let's read the class intervals. 15 to 19, 20 to 24. So there's a break now. See here, 15 to 19, and it does not continue from 19. It's 20 to 24. So you can see the break after. So the numbers between, meaning the decimal numbers between 19 and 20, like 19.1 cannot be accommodated in this frequency distribution. 19.1, 19.2, or 19.9, the numbers between 19 and 20. The numbers between 19 and 20 cannot be accommodated here. So this is a frequency distribution where the class intervals are not continuous. The class intervals are not continuous. See here, 15 to 19. It doesn't continue with 19. It's 20 to 24. Then after 24, 25 to 29, 30 to 34, 35 to 39. Do we understand that the class intervals are not continuous, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. So now we'll just understand the procedure. See, we are not finding mean, median, or mode here. We're just going to understand the procedure by which we can make the class intervals continuous. When you make the class intervals continuous, the frequencies are not affected. The frequencies will remain the same. The frequencies are not affected. So how do we make the class intervals continuous? See that? So take up any two consecutive class intervals. Take up any two consecutive class intervals, say 15 to 19 and 20 to 24. Okay, this is the lower limit and this is the upper limit. Lower limit of the second class interval. No, let me not talk about it. See, this is the lower limit. This is the upper limit. subtract 20 minus 19. What is it? 1. Now divide that by 2. Always divide by 2. Not here. Always find the difference and divide by 2. Always find the difference and divide by 2. See which difference? You take any 2 consecutive class intervals. So you can take 20 to 24 and 25 to 29. Any 2 consecutive class intervals. Next. Lower limit, upper limit. This is the lower limit of this class interval. This is the upper limit of the earlier class interval. Subtract 25 minus 24. The difference is 1. Divide that by 2. Whatever is the difference, you should divide by 2. Whatever difference you get, even if the difference is 3, divide by 2. If the difference is 5, divide by 2. Always divide by 2. The difference divided by 2. Now here it is 1 by 2, which is 0.5. 0.5. So what you should do? You must subtract 0.5 to all the lower limits. Subtract 0.5 from all the lower limits. Minus 0.5 I'm writing. And add 0.5. Add 0.5 to all the upper limits. Add 0.5 to all the upper limits. And that gives you this distribution. So see here, when you do that, 15 minus 0.5, 14.5. 20 minus 0.5. See here, we had to subtract 0.5 from all the lower limits. So see here, see the lower limits first. See the lower limits first. 15 minus 0.5, 14.5. 20 minus 0.5, 19.5. 25 minus 0.5, 24.5. Do we understand that? And to the upper limits, we need to add 0.5. To the upper limits, these are the upper limits. Add 0.5, add 0.5. 19.5, 24.5. Now you can see that the class intervals are continuous. Because 19.5, see here, 14.5 to 19.5, 19.5 to 24.5, 24.5 to 29.5, 29.5 to 34.5, 34.5 to 39.5. Now the class intervals are continuous. Now the class intervals are continuous. All right. The frequencies are not affected. Write the frequencies against the class intervals as they are. The frequencies are not affected. So here, what did we learn? We just learned how to make the class intervals continuous. That's all. The question is not to find mean, median, or mode. In this frequency distribution, the class intervals are not continuous. The other term for not continuous is discontinuous or inclusive series or inclusive class intervals. Okay, they're inclusive. The class intervals are inclusive, are of the inclusive form. So how do you make them exclusive? How do you make them continuous? So those different terms, it's all in the notes. You need to remember all of that. Otherwise, you will think I'm explaining something very, very complicated. Nothing is complicated. Those terms you'll have to register. Okay, so this is how we make it continuous. Got this, children? Yeah, write down. You can see the question and the answer beside it. Write down quickly. Online students, any questions you can ask me? If you don't have any doubts, write down this in your notebook. Neatly. So randomly, I might ask one of the students to share their classwork pictures on WhatsApp. On different days, I'll ask different students to share their classwork pictures on WhatsApp. So make sure you're writing. So in the rough column, you can just make a note like take up the class intervals 15 to 19 and 20 to 24, rough column. So you should subtract, the difference is 1, and you should now divide 1 by 2, which is 0.5. Subtract 0.5 from all lower limits. You can write it in the rough column. This is just for your information. You don't have to write this as a part of the answer. Add 0.5 to all upper limits. Upper limits meaning upper class limits and lower class limits. Done, online children? Done writing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, the next one. Done, children? Is it over?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Jayant and Arjun? Done, all right. Okay, see this one. Find the mean age. Okay, from the following frequency distribution using direct mean method, assumed mean method, and step deviation method. We're going to learn how to find, see, why mean age? Because you can see the frequency distribution. The data is about the age. See the first column, age in years, 5 to 14, 5 years to 14 years, 15 years to 24 years, 25 years to 34 years, and the number of persons. All right. So from the following frequency distribution, you need to find the, excuse me, children. Yeah, children. Yeah. So this question is, we need to find the mean age of the given frequency distribution using the 3 different methods. Okay, let's see the direct mean method first. Now the formula under the direct, okay, so I need to tell you something about mean. Now, what would you say about the class intervals here? Are they continuous or not continuous? The class intervals. They're not continuous. What's the other term used for class intervals that are not continuous? Inclusive class intervals. Also, discontinuous class intervals or not continuous, inclusive class intervals. These are the different terms, right? Okay, now the first question is, the class intervals are not continuous. Should you make them continuous is the first question. Now, when you're finding mean, it is not necessary to make the class intervals continuous. You make it continuous, you don't make it continuous, you'll get the same answer. Supposing you do it in both the ways. You make the class intervals continuous and you find mean. Then you don't make the class intervals continuous and find the mean. Exactly the same answer you will get in both. Exactly the same. So mean is not, I'll tell you why also. So mean is not affected. Okay, but for median and mode, if the class intervals are not continuous, you have to make them continuous. You should not find mean or median or mode. You should not find median or mode without making the class intervals continuous. Do you understand? So we have only three things here: mean, median, and mode. Mean, it's not necessary to make the class intervals continuous. You make it okay, you don't make it okay. Both you'll get the same answer. But for median and mode, you should make the class intervals continuous. So here you can do it anyways. Now you know. So in the earlier slide, you learned how to make the class intervals continuous. Correct? So you can, if you want, make the class intervals continuous and then find mean. Or you can do it as it is. So I have made them continuous. Fine. For everything, I've made them continuous. Okay. So you can try at home without making it continuous. You'll get the same answer. I'll tell you the reason why now. Okay. Yeah. So under the direct mean method, this is the formula. This is the formula under the direct mean method. X bar is equal to sigma fi xi by sigma fi. What do we mean by sigma? Summation, the total of summation or the total of. Okay, this is a Greek letter sigma. This is the uppercase sigma. This is lowercase sigma. Like how we in English we have uppercase letters and lowercase letters. We write capital A like this and small a like this, capital B like this, small b like this. So in the same way in the Greek language, this is capital letter sigma, and this is sigma in the lowercase. So in statistics, when we use the this symbol, when you use this Greek symbol, it means the total of some column. It means the total of some column. So sigma means total of which column? FIXI column. The total of the FIXI column by the total of the FI column. Do we understand that? The formula says X bar is equal to, that means mean is equal to. The symbolic way of expressing mean is X bar. X bar is equal to sigma FIXI, total of the FIXI column divided by sigma FI, the total of the FI column. Is it understood? Okay. Now, where is FIXI? Where are they? So this one, the first column, that is age in years. This will become the XI column. We'll see how. Okay, so from the class intervals, we'll get the XI column, and these frequencies or the frequency column is the FI column. See, this is F1, frequency 1, frequency 2, frequency 3, frequency 4, frequency 5, frequency 6, and hence it is FI, where I ranges from 1 to 6. I ranges from 1 to 6. You understand what I'm saying? FI, where I ranges from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can be 1, I can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. FI. We understand that? Okay. XI again means X1, X2, X3, X4, X5, X6. So that's why the columns are called XI, FI. Is it fine? Now, how do you, FI is this one only. FI is 6, 11, 21, 23, 14, and 5. Now, from these class intervals, you have to find the respective class marks. You'll have to find the respective class marks. Class marks are the midpoints of the class intervals. Class mark represents the midpoint of the class interval. Now, how do you find the midpoint? Add the lower limit. So see here. Now, the class mark of the class interval. See here, what is 5 to 14? This is a class interval. What is 5 to 14? It is a class interval. What is 5 in it? Lower class limit. What is 14? upper class limit. 5 is the lower class limit and 14 is the upper class limit, or simply upper limit, lower limit. It's okay if you don't say class. Upper limit, lower limit. So the class mark is the lower limit plus the upper limit divided by 2. Okay. Now see, I have not made the class intervals continuous. I have not made it here now. When I'm working, I have not made it continuous. I'm directly adding lower limit 5 plus the upper limit 14 by 2, which is 19 by 2. And what is 19 by 2? 9.5. So what's the class mark? 9.5. Next, what is the class mark for 15 to 24? 15 plus 24 by 2. So that is 39 by 2, which is 19.5. All right. So now these are the class marks when we did not make the class intervals continuous. We didn't make them continuous. Now see, I have made them continuous. Now see the class marks, same you're getting. You're getting the same thing. See here. These are the class marks. Xi represents the class marks. See a 9.5. Add what is 4.5 plus 14.5? 19 by 2, 9.5. Same thing you will get. You will get the same thing. So since the class mark remains the same, whether the class for a particular frequency distribution, when you're finding mean, whether you make the class intervals continuous or you don't make it continuous, the class mark is not affected. It remains the same. You can see it. We just checked it. No, see here. Take up the next one, 25 to 34, and lower limit 25 plus the upper limit 34 by 2. What is it? 59 by 2. Can you see the board? Yeah, 59 by 2. And 59 by 2 is 29.5. See here, 29.5. But how did I get this 29.5? 24.5. I did 24.5 plus 34.5 because I made it continuous. No. So the lower limit is 24.5. The upper limit is 34.5. I add. I get the same thing, 59. I get the same addition. So everywhere when you add, you add this and you add this, you'll get the same thing. Please try it. I'll wait for a minute. Fine. Add this, add this. The result is the same. Add this and add this. The result is the same. Add. Check it for yourself. So when the sum is the same, when you divide by 2 also, you'll get the same value, right? That's what it is. So should we make the class intervals continuous? Not necessary. You want, so don't make it continuous. Why waste time on that? Now don't ask me why did you waste time? Okay. Yeah, I made it continuous for no reason. I just made it continuous for no reason. Yeah. So you don't make it continuous. You don't make it continuous. You can do it. So now, this is the solution. This is the question. This is the solution. So you can see the first column, class interval. It's given age in years. You can write class intervals. And the second one is number of persons, FI column. That's the FI column. Is that fine? Now the XI column is the class mark. The class marks, they make the XI column. Is that fine? Do we understand how to find class marks? Online students? Online students, class marks, do we understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So that's the XI column. Next, we need to generate the FI XI column. FI XI column, because what is the formula? Sigma FI XI. That means I must have a column called FI XI. Then only I can find the total of that column. See, what is sigma FI XI? The total of the FI XI column. That means I must have a column FI XI. I have the FI column, I have the XI column. I don't have a column with a heading FI XI. So how do I generate that column? I need to multiply F1 X1. See here, multiply this. This is F1. This is X1. Multiply these two. That is F1, meaning the F1, the first value of the FI XI column. Multiply these two. Multiply the corresponding FI and XI values. So 6 into 9.5 is equal to 11 into 19.5 is equal to 21 into 29.5. Is that understood, children? The FI value into the corresponding XI value will give you the FI XI value. Then 23 is the FI value. And 39.5 is the corresponding XI value. So 23 into 39.5. Okay, so like this, you get the FI XI values. Now, what is the, see, we are just doing it according to the formula. Now, what does the formula say? Find sigma FI XI. So I add up all these values. I add all this. So sigma FI XI is equal to 2970. Then I have to find, by the formula, I'll have to find sigma FI. So that means the total of the FI column. So FI column is this one. Total of the FI column, 80. Now use the formula. Now use the formulas. X bar is equal to sigma FI XI by sigma FI. Put the values, and the mean age is 34.875 years. All right. Right on, children? Do not blindly copy. You just go through the slide once and then write down. Or if you've understood, start writing. No. Question separately. As please write as you see on your screen, children, online students. Write the question first and then the answer. No, in the question, when you make the table should be in the question. Separately, you should make a table for the answer. Oh, you can make it anything. You can do it without making it continuous also. Children, online students, see, I have made the class intervals continuous. You can try without making it continuous also. You don't have to do it like this. You can even go ahead with 5 to 14, 15 to 24. Yeah, finish it and tell me.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yes, Tanishka. Yes.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the how to find the XI alone, ma'am?
Sure. Yeah. Now see here. I'll do it without making the class intervals continuous. So xi, all right. Now what is, this is a class interval. The lower limit is 5, the upper limit is 14. Add the lower limit and the upper limit. What is 5 plus 14? 19. Divide by 2. What is 19 by 2? 9.5. Then 15 plus 24. 39 by 2. 19.5 is the second value in the xi column. If you make the class intervals continuous, do the same procedure. 4.5 plus 14.5. 19 by 2. 9.5. Add the lower limit and the upper limit of a particular class interval and divide by 2. to find its class mark. I can tell you again, Tanishka, am I clear?
Yes, ma'am, you're clear, ma'am.
Okay. Done writing, online students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Rajat, finished?
Yes, ma'am. I have finished it.
Okay, okay.
Just a minute, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Completed, ma'am.
Very nice. Okay. Join any doubts? You understand? Now, supposing there's a class interval 10 to 30. Okay, 10 to 30. What is the class mark of this class interval 10 to 30? Don't get upset. How will you find the class mark? No. Class mark. Like how you found the xi values now. No problem. Yes, Arjun. Class mark of the class interval 10 to 30. Huh? How you found 20? Okay. Yes. Now supposing there's a class interval 50 to 100. What is the class mark? No. How do we do 10 to 30? You should add 10 and 30. 40 by 2. 20s. 75. So what's the class mark of the class interval 100 to 200? What will you do? Yeah, that's how we found the xi values. Okay. So how do we get 19.5? 14? No. You are answering the question how to make the class intervals continuous. No, that's not my question. You are answering the question how to make the class intervals continuous. My question is, how did you get that value? Say like 29.5. How do we find that value 29.5? No. Yes, sir. You? $25 plus 34 by 2, or in this table, 24.5 plus 34.5 by 2. Now, how do you get the 59.5? Jayant, 59.5. No, 59.5. 59.5 is the last one. So the corresponding class interval is which one? Fifty-four point 54.5 to 64.5. You said that one, is it? 55 to 64, you said? Okay, 55 to 64. So how do you find 59.5? 55? And by 2 will give you 59.5. Hello. Any questions, children? No? All right. Next, we'll find the mean for the same frequency distribution using the assumed mean method. All right. So we'll first understand the formula under the assumed mean method. See, this is the formula. In the notes, you will get the description. So in the notes, you will get the description. Now just listen to me. You don't have to make a note of anything. I told you, some more notes is pending. So in that, you will get the description of all the formulae. Now just listen to me and write down whatever you see here. So this is the formula to find the mean under the assumed mean method. Okay, so here, look at the columns generated. This is given in the question. Class intervals are given in the question. You can make them continuous or leave it as it is. Frequency given in the question. And when finding mean, you should always find the xi column. That's compulsory. When you're finding mean, for a grouped frequency distribution. This is a grouped frequency distribution, right? Because it involves class intervals. What is a grouped frequency distribution? A frequency distribution that involves class intervals. So here you can see class intervals. Whenever you're finding mean for a grouped frequency distribution, that is if there are class intervals. Okay, if there are class intervals, you have to find the class marks. You have to find the class marks. You cannot find mean using the class intervals. You have to find the class marks. And so you will have the xi column. You will have the xi column. And how do you find these values in the xi column? 4.5 plus 14.5 by 2. Same thing, what you did earlier. Same thing. All right, so that's how you get the xi column. Now see here, you'll have to generate a column called the di column. What is di? Di is given by xi minus a. Xi minus a. These are the xi values, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6. These are the xi values. Minus a. A is called the assumed mean. A is called the assumed mean. Now you should select any value from the xi column. Select any column, select any value from the xi column, not the frequency column. Not from the frequency column. Not from the frequency column, from the xi column. From the xi column, any value, take any value as a. Any value as a. I have taken 39.5 as a. I have taken 39.5 as a. Now, any value actually, but we prefer the middlemost value. Middlemost value meaning 9.5, 59.5, 19.5, 49.5. So there are two values in the middle. So you can take 29.5 or 39.5. Any one you can take. We prefer the middlemost value, but you can take any value from the xi column as a. So what is a? A is the assumed mean, and this value is any value from the xi column, preferably the middlemost value. If you don't take the middlemost value, you take some other value also, you will get the same answer. Is that fine? Okay. So we have a here. A is any value from the xi column, not from the frequency column, from the xi column. Any value from the xi column, preferably the middlemost value. So the middlemost numbers here are 29.5 and 39.5. So I've taken 39.5 as a. Then see the formula, a plus sigma fi di. Sigma fi di. So you need to have a column like fi di column. Then only you can find sigma fi di. You need to have a column, fi di column. Only then you can find sigma fi di. See, what is sigma FIDI? The total of the FIDI column. Sigma meaning total of summation. The total of which column? The FIDI column. But we don't have such a column. So how to find the FIDI column? How to find the values in the FIDI column? You need to have the values in the FI column and the DI column. Only then you can find FIDI. You must have FI column. You must have the DI column. Only then you can find you can multiply the corresponding values and find the values in the FIDI column. All right. So how do you find DI? DI is XI minus A. So see, this is XI minus A minus 39.5. Minus 39.5. 1 second. We have taken A as this is A. You can circle it and mark A here. This is A. Okay, so DI values are XI value minus A minus 39.5. XI value minus 39.5. Minus 39.5. So now what is 9.5 minus 39.5 minus 30? 19.5 minus 39.5 minus 20. 29.5 minus 39.5 minus 10. 39.5 minus 39.5, 0. 49.5 minus 39.5, 10. And then 20. So these are the DI values. So how do you find the DI values? DI is equal to XI minus A. So A is any value from the XI column, preferably the middlemost value. How do we generate the values in the DI column? XI minus A, not A minus XI. XI value minus A, XI value minus A. So 9.5 is X1. 9.5 is that X value minus A minus 39.5. Yes or no? This XI value minus A, XI value minus A will give you the values in the DI column. Will give you the values in the DI column. So now we have generated the DI column. See, again, let's go back to the formula. We need to have A. See, mandatory are these columns. Class intervals given in the question. Class intervals column given in the question. Frequencies given in the question. Now, from the class intervals, you will have to generate the XI column, which has the class marks of the respective class intervals. So that's how you generate the XI column. That is compulsory. To find mean, you should always find the XI column, which contains the class marks of the different class intervals. Then after the XI column, XI is compulsory. Now, after the XI column, what else should you find? Depends on the formula. After the XI column, what should I find? Depends on the formula you're using. Look at the formula. The formula says A plus. So what is A? The middlemost value in the XI column. So this is A. Then look at the formula. FIDI summation FIDI. You have the FI column. You don't have the DI column. So you should first create the DI column. How to create the DI column? XI minus A. So create the column DI. Then look at the formula FIDI. So to create that column FIDI. How? By multiplying FI value and the DI value. Correct? Now what is sigma FIDI? The total of the FIDI column. So now we found this also. We found sigma FIDI. Now we have to find sigma FI. What is that? The total of the FI column. Sigma Fi means the total of the Fi column. Now substitute the values in the formula and find the mean using the assumed mean method. And you can see exactly the same answer you're getting. All right. Got this, children? As you work, any questions you can ask me. So Saturday will be a test on these portions. That will be a paper pen test. Online students should do the test and share the pictures on WhatsApp. Offline students will submit it to me. Online students must work it and send the picture to me on WhatsApp. I'll correct it and send it back on WhatsApp to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Done, children?
Just a minute.
Yeah. Done? Finished? Yes, sir? KNM is starting school on March 1st, right? What about Z school? You already started school, right? When? Monday. You started polynomials or linear equations? Real numbers, huh? Oh. Did they speak about any deletions for this year? Any part of the chapter deleted? No, right? Or you're not aware of that? Hmm. You're done, children? Online students?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Florentina, any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. What about Rashmi, Raja?
No, ma'am. No doubts.
Rashmi? No, ma'am. All right. Prajit?
No, ma'am.
All right. Let's see the next method, which is called the step deviation method. Now look at the formula. Look at the formula below. A. So it's the same meaning. A has the same meaning. A has the same meaning. What is A? Raghavi, what's A? Any value from which column? Xi column. So A is any value or preferably the middlemost value from the Xi column. Now look at the formula. H. What is H? H is the width of the class intervals. H is the width of the class intervals. Now, here is where we may go wrong. So, see here. What is 14? What is 14 minus 5, children? Okay. What is 14.5 minus 4.5? What is 14.5? Okay, children. Okay, slowly let me ask you. What is 14 minus 5? What is 14 minus 5? What is 14.5 minus 4.5? What is 14 minus 5? 9. What is 14.5 minus 4.5? 10. Here is where we could go wrong in taking the value of H. Here is where we could go wrong in taking the value of H. Okay, I'm not clear. I know I'm not clear. I'll tell you again. Wait. We are talking about the value of H. Okay, H is the class size. Class size. H is the class size. What is H? Class size. H is the class size or class width. Class size or class width. Class width. Now, how is this found? Okay, the class size. Let's define class size now. Class size is the number of integral values. Integral values a class interval holds. A class interval holds. This is the definition of class size or class width. Class size or class width is the number of integral values. That means integer values. Integral values meaning integer values a class interval holds. Integer values. Because if you have to find all the values, we know between any two numbers, there are infinitely many rational numbers. Between 2 and 3, there are so many rational numbers and irrationals also. So between two numbers, you cannot find all the numbers. You can find integers between them. You can find integers or natural numbers or whole numbers that you can find. Yes or no? Class size or the class width is the number of integer values, which is called integral values, a class interval holds. Now we need to be careful here. Let's go back to the first one here. Okay, see this one, children. Don't go ahead of me. Don't go ahead of me. Now let's look at this class interval 5 to 14. Now, how many integers are contained in this class interval? 5, I'm counting, see, 5. 5 belongs to the class interval 5 to 14. Only integers, so 6. The next number is 6. Now, don't ask 5.1, 5.2. 5.1 is not an integer. So, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. 14 also belongs to the same class interval, 5 to 14. Yes or no? 5 to 14 includes 5 and 14. The class interval 5 to 14 includes the values 5 and 14. Okay, if you don't put 14 there, where will you put it? In 5 to 14 only, you will have 5 and 14, right? So count the integers. What is class size? It's the number of integer values a class interval holds. So how many integers are contained in 5 to 14? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 10 integers. So 10 is the class size, not 14 minus 5, 9. All right. So when the class intervals are not continuous, you should be careful while finding the class size. You should not just subtract. You must subtract and add 1. Subtract to get 9, no, add 1. 10 is the class size. Just to remember, if it is not continuous, subtract and add 1. 14 minus 5, 9, plus 1, 10 is the class size. Or take this one. 44 minus 35. What is 44 minus 35? 9 only. Plus 1, 10. 10 is the class size. But if the class intervals are continuous, like you see here, they're continuous. They're continuous. Here it's only the difference. Here it is only the difference. 14.5 minus 4.5. 10 is the class size. You can count with your fingers also. You can also count with your fingers. All right. Then here, what here? The number of integer values. That is 24.5 minus 14.5. 10. When the how to find, the question is how to find the class size or the class width. If the class intervals are continuous, upper limit minus lower limit. That's all. Whatever answer you get, that's the class size. If the class intervals are not continuous, upper limit minus lower limit plus 1, not plus 2 or 3, plus 1 only always. Plus 1 only always. Is that understood? So these things you need to remember. The question is how to find class size or class width. So 2 cases. When the class intervals are continuous, upper limit minus lower limit. So here 14.5 minus 4.5, 10. When the class intervals are not continuous, upper limit minus lower limit plus 1. Am I clear? So now that's where we could go wrong in getting the value of h. Okay, so h is 10. H is 10. Because you can see here 44.5 minus 34.5, which is 10. So that's the value of h. So you understood how to find a and h. Now you also know how to find sigma fi. Sigma fi is the total of the fi column. Now let's understand how to find sigma Fi Ui. Let's understand how to find sigma Fi Ui. So you must have the Fi column basically. And then you should have the Ui column. Fi column we have, Ui column we don't have. We'll have to generate. Now how do you generate the Ui column? Ui is given by xi minus a by h. You did di, no? What is ui? It's di by h. What is di? Xi minus a by h. Okay, not following. 1 minute. 1 minute. Means ui is xi minus a by h. What is this xi minus a? It's di, no? Earlier sum. What is xi minus a? Xi minus a is di. So ui is di by h. ui is di by h. So ui is equal to what is di? How to find di? Xi minus a by h. Xi minus a by h. So now go to the xi column, the middlemost value. So the middle, I have taken here a as 29.5. Anything. Not that if you take 39.5 here, you should take the same thing here. Nothing like that. You can take any value. Any value from the xi column is a. So I have taken 29.5 as a. This is a. Okay. See here. A is 29.5. Can you see that? And we know that h is 10. H is 10. Okay. And the total of the fi column is 80. The total of the fi column is 80. Now how to get this 43? Okay. So fi ui. Ui, look at the ui column. Xi minus a 29.5 by h by 10. 9.5 minus 29.5 is minus 20 by 10 minus 2. So Rajat, tell me for the first, see, I'm telling you for the first one. Okay. So for the first one, for this one, it is 9.5 minus 29.5 by 2. So minus 20 by 2, which is minus 2. Rajat, tell me for the second one, how do you find ui? The second ui value?
Yes, ma'am. 11 minus 19.5 by 2.
Ui is xi minus a by h.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the value of a?
29.
29.5. From where will you select a? From which column?
I'm xi, ma'am.
Xi. Usually preferably the
Class mark.
middlemost value.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is 29. We have taken 29.5. How to find ui? Ui is xi minus a by h. Use this formula and tell me. Xi minus a by h. What is xi? 19.5. Minus a. What is a?
29.5, ma'am.
So what is xi minus a? 19.5 minus 29.5. How much is that?
Minus 10.
By h. What's the value of h? What's the value of h? Okay, why is h 10? Okay, what is h, children? How do you find h? Upper limit minus the lower limit. It's a class size. Correct? For continuous class intervals, upper limit minus lower limit. For class intervals that are not continuous, upper limit minus lower limit plus 1. Okay, I'll come back to project later. Raja, ui is xi minus a by h. Understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me how we get minus 1 as ui.
Ma'am, here xi is 19.5.
Ah,
A we chose as 29.5.
okay.
So it's minus 10 sorry ma'am, h value is 10 as upper limit minus lower limit is 10.
Hmm.
So it's
Correct.
minus 10 by 10, which equals minus 1.
Very good. Tell me the next one also. How do we get 0?
Xi value is 29.5 and
Very
we
good.
choose the A value as 29.5 also. So minus 29.5 by 10, which equals 0 by 10, which equals 0.
Very good. All right. Yeah. So that's how it is. That's how we generate the UI values. UI is equal to xi minus a by h. All right. So generate the UI values. And after that, you need to find the fi UI column. Fi UI column. You know how to do that. Fi UI, multiply the fi value and the UI value, corresponding UI value. Then sigma fi UI. Put it in the formula and simplify that. Yeah, do it, children. Prajit, it's okay. Maybe you were not listening or something, you were distracted. You can ask me. You work it. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah. As you're working, Prajit, please try to understand. Any doubt, you can ask me. I'll repeat.
Yes, ma'am. For sure.
Yeah.
Can I see what's in the chat box? Are all of you ready for your first English class? Fantastic. You can collect your welcome card.
Finished? Arjun? Raghavi? Done? What about Giant? Giant, explain how you get 3. 3. Explain how you get 3. How do you define UI? UI is equal to? No, UI is equal to, say, xi minus a by h. Okay. So UI is equal to xi minus a by h. So for 3, what is to get this answer 3? What is xi? Okay, minus a. What is a? What is xi 50? So 59.5 minus 29.5. How much is that? Put in your book. 30. So xi minus a we did. Now xi minus a by h. What's the value of h? 10. So 30 by 10. So 3. That's how it's 3 there. Got it? How did you, can we take h as any value? A as any value? From which column? Fi column. Xi column. Xi column. Okay, then how did we take h as 10? Okay, so it's the class size. H is nothing but the class size or the class width. The class width or the class size. Both are the same. Class width, class size, both are the same. So how do you find that? The upper limit minus the lower limit for continuous class intervals. If the class intervals are not continuous, it is upper limit minus lower limit plus 1. Okay, fine. Any questions, online students?
No, ma'am.
All right. So you can see for the same frequency distribution, when you find the mean under the 3 different methods, you get exactly the same answer. And you can see in the step deviation method, we have taken A as 29.5, while in the assumed mean method, I don't know what you have taken. You might have taken a different value, but in the assumed mean method, I have taken 39.5 as A. You can see in the assumed mean method, I've taken A as 39.5. But in the step deviation method, I've taken A as 29.5. Still, we get the same answer, 34.875 in all the 3 cases. Okay. So when you find mean for a frequency distribution using any of the 3 methods, the answer is exactly the same. So mostly it will be specified in the question, find mean using step deviation method or find mean using assume mean method. But what if nothing is mentioned? So when the numbers are very large, we prefer the step deviation method because you can find the difference, divide by h and get a small value. Let's compare these 2 columns. See here, look at the DI values here. Look at the DI values here, minus 30, minus 20, and so on. Look at the UI values here. Look at the UI values here. They're very small because you divide by h to get the UI values. They're very small. So FI UI calculation becomes easy. FI UI, you can almost do it mentally. 6 into minus 2 minus 12. 11 into minus 1 minus 11. While here, FI DI, since DI is large, you might have to multiply and spend time. See here, we'll have to find FI DI, right? So see here, supposing you don't know what is supposing, okay, all are simple here, but yeah, when the numbers are like you need to multiply and find the answer. So here they all look simple, but you can see that the DI values are large here, minus 30, minus 20, minus 10, as against these values. as against these values, -2, -1, correct? So when do we, how do we, if nothing is mentioned, how do you decide which method to use? So you can just do that in your mind. You can use the assume mean method or the step deviation method. If the numbers are say very small, like 2, if the xi values are like, if the xi values are like 2, 3, 7, 11, and the fi values are 1, 4, you can use a direct method, fi xi. When the xi and fi values are very small, like some second, third channel multiplication, the xi and fi values are very small, then you can use a direct method. But if the xi value is large, if the value, you can see, when you just look at the distribution, you can make out. When the values are large, then you have to decide if it is the assume mean method or the step deviation method. So you find di in your mind. See, from the xi column, you can find a, right? From the xi column, you will get a. And just do xi minus a in your mind. If it is large, then use a step deviation method by h. Don't understand? You find the di values in your mind. Just find 1 or 2 di values in your mind. If you think they're too large and it will take time to multiply fi di, immediately switch to the step deviation method. So depending on the numbers, you can decide. If the numbers are large, step deviation method. That's all. So this is so the first question was to find mean using the 3 different methods. Now see this one. X bar is given to you. You should find the missing frequency. X bar meaning mean is given to you. X bar meaning mean is given to you. So you don't have to find mean. Mean is given 62.8. Find the missing frequency. Find A. All right. Yeah, this you can help yourself. After this, I'm going to give you a test. Simply now. Sorry. Yeah, children, all if you follow the working, do it yourself.
Is there a value for sigma?
Is there a
Value for sigma?
Rajat, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Yes.
Who can answer that question? Online students? Prajit's question is there a value for sigma? So Prajit thinks sigma is like pi. Prajit thinks sigma is like pi has 22/7. Yes, Raja, answer that question.
Sigma is like just if sigma of fi means the whole column fi needs to be added together. That's the value of sigma fi.
Yeah, no, I told you something. What sigma means?
Summation.
Summation. Meaning what? Total of. Instead of using the English words total of, summation. Instead of using that, we say sigma. So sigma cannot have any value.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Maybe
you.
in physics it has, not in maths at least. Not
Yes,
in maths. In maths, it's used in statistics. And in statistics, sigma simply means add the FI/XI column. Sigma meaning find the total of some column. That's all. It has no value. Yeah. I said go through the working, understand yourself. Next question is a test based on the same situation. Done? Any questions? Sure. Arjun? Done? Okay.
Can we write it as Fi xi by Fi without using a sigma?
Sorry, Prajit?
Can we write the mean formula as Fi xi by Fi without using the sigma?
No, no.
No.
Fi xi means sigma Fi xi means find the total of the Fi xi column. You cannot write it without sigma. You have to write sigma Fi xi, total of the Fi xi column.
Yes, I understand.
Ready for the test?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What about Florentina and Krishni?
Yes, ma'am.
Krishmi? Very good. All right. So here goes the question. Write down the question and then work the solution. I'm giving you the xi value straight away, so don't get confused. Okay, let me give you the classroom tools. Yeah. This is the question. The mean is 50. Find the missing frequency f.
Yes.
Yeah. Completed. Very good. What's the answer you got? 28. Okay. Okay, there's one student here in the class who's finished. Danya's finished. Anybody online has completed?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Do it. Same answer? Okay. Will do. I should, not I should. Madhumita, just see if you can see, there's a calculator behind you there. Yes, online students. Florentina.
Ma'am, we haven't completed, ma'am.
Finished, huh?
Ma'am, completed.
What's your answer, Raja?
Ma'am, 52, ma'am.
Louder?
52, ma'am.
52. Okay. Rajit?
I have not completed it.
Yeah, what did you say, Florentina?
Ma'am, we haven't completed.
Yeah, what's your answer? Krishmi? Krishmi? If you finish, type your answer, Krishmi. You haven't completed. Okay, but it's time to see the answer, children. Yes, here. Arjun? Working. Raghavi? Okay. Yeah, what are the FI/XI values, Tanya? 170. Is it 30F or 30 plus F? Why is it not 30 plus F? It's multiplication. FI/XI, we have to multiply. So 30 into F is 30F. Then next one. 1,600, 1,680, 1,070. The total is
It's 1710, right?
yeah, okay. Yeah, and now what's the total of this column?
May
You
I-
will be adding only 170, 1,600, 1,680, and 1,710. What is the total? 5,000?
160.
Pradip, what? 5,000?
5160.
Okay, 5160. You? Same? Okay, 5160. 5160. 5160 plus 30F, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You cannot add, it's not 5160 plus 30. It's not 5. It is not this. It is not this. You should add only these numbers 170 plus 1,600 plus 1,680 plus 1,710. And that totals to 5160 plus 30F. And what is this, Prajit? This is, what is 5160 plus 30F called? It is the
FI-XI. Sigma FI-XI.
sigma FI-XI. That is sigma FI-XI. So the total of the FI-XI column is 5160 plus 30F. Parkavi, did you get that? Raghavi, you got that? Arjun, you got this total. What's the total of the FI column, Arjun? Loud, loud. 90? That's all. What about the F there? But what have you written? F plus 92 or 92 plus F? Is that correct? 92 plus F, is that right? Children online, you can write it as 92 plus F or F plus 92.
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, 30F plus 5160 or 5160 plus 30F. Now it's time to use the formula. So X bar is equal to sigma FI-XI by sigma FI. Now what is X bar? 50. 50 is equal to 5160 plus 30F divided by 92 plus F. Now next what? What can we do, Giant? How do you simplify this? Cross multiply. So it will be 50 into 92 plus F is equal to 5160 plus 30F. Cross multiplication. Cross multiply. To solve this, you'll have to cross multiply. Now, Prajit, what is 50 into 92? Fast.
Ma'am, 460. One more zero. 46,000. 4,600.
Okay. Plus next term, Prajit.
50F.
Florentina, continue. Have you got the step, Florentina?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please continue.
Ma'am, we should subtract 5,160 and 4,600. And we should subtract.
No, no explanation. Just read out what you've written in your book.
And 50F minus 30F.
Yeah.
Is equal to 4,006. 5,160 minus 4,600.
Okay, next step.
20F is equal to.
Correct.
$460.
No. 560. So F is equal to 560 by 20. So Raja, where have you gone wrong?
28.
Very
Ma'am,
good.
while writing the table, I went wrong, but I did not write one digit correctly, ma'am. That's why.
Which frequency?
Ma'am, first one, ma'am.
What did you write? Instead of 17, what did you write?
Instead of 17, I wrote 5, ma'am.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is the solution. So Danya, Madhumita got it right. Danya and Madhumita. Arjun? You went wrong somewhere. You got it right? Online?
I got it right, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Thank you, ma'am.
What about Florentina? Raja went wrong. Raja was careless in writing the first frequency. All right. I'll come back to this slide giant. I'll come back at the end of the class. Now see this question, children. If n is equal to 40, now what is n? N is sigma fi, the total of the frequency column. N is nothing but sigma fi in statistics. The total of the frequency column is represented by the capital letter N. N is equal to 40 means the total of the frequency column is equal to 40. Do we understand that? N is nothing but sigma fi, the total of the frequency column. So n is equal to 40 and the mean is 544. Find the missing frequencies. So you need to find the value of A as well as the value of B. So there are two missing frequencies. There are two frequencies which are not known. And you're given the value of the mean and the total of the frequency column. With the help of this information, you need to find the missing frequencies A and B. So see how it is worked. So this column, you all understand? I'll share this. I'll share these pictures on WhatsApp. You can complete at home. Just see how it is worked. See the solution column, class intervals as it is. Just follow what I'm saying. You can see the class interval column, which is given in the question. The FI column again, which is given in the question. Now you will have to create the XI column. Okay, so you know that the class marks. So you have to generate the XI column and you have to generate the FI-XI column to use the formula. Sigma FI-XI by sigma FI. So you need to generate the FI-XI column. So 510 into A is 510A and 550 into B is 550B. Now you know that the total of the FI column is 40. It's given in the question. It's given that this sigma Fi or the value of n is 40 is given. That's why we've written 40 here. When you add, you will not get 40 because there are two frequencies missing, no, A and B. When you add, you will not get, when we add, we will not get 40. It's given in the question. That's what we have written 40 there. All right. Now, when you add the FI-XI values, when you add all these values, you should add only these numbers, this one, and this one. And that totals to this. Write this 510A and 550B as it is here. 510A plus 550B plus the total of the three numbers. Is that clear? Correct? Write this 510A as it is. 550B as it is. And the sum of these three numbers, the sum of, these four numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The sum of these four numbers is 11,870. So we've got the total of the FI-XI column, correct? Now see here, how do you generate the conditions? Now you know that A plus 9 plus B plus 4 plus 3 plus 5 is equal to 14. Correct? That's what you see here. That's what you see here. When you add all the frequencies, it is given that the total is 14. So from this, you get an equation A plus B is equal to 19. You get an equation A plus B is equal to 19. All right. Now use the formula. Now use the formula. X bar is equal to sigma Fi Xi by sigma Fi. Substitute. What is X bar given? 544. What is sigma Fi Xi? We found no. We found this one. And what is sigma Fi? Don't use, you don't add and write everything. Write 40. It's given no. Sigma Fi is 40 is given in the question. Sigma Fi is 40 is given in the question. So write that. Now cross multiply and work this. So substitute X bar 544. Substitute this value, which you have in the earlier column. And this is given to be 40 in the question. So substitute these values and cross multiply again. Cross multiply. Cross multiply. All right. So after working, see you have one A, one B, and one number like this. At this point, substitute. A plus B is 19, no? So what is A? 19 minus B, correct? Yes or no? If A plus B is 19, what is A? A is equal to 19 minus B. So instead of A, use 19 minus B. Because this equation has A and B in it. You want to find the value of A and B. So what you do? In place of A, use 19 minus B. Now 510 into 19 is this one. 510 into B is minus 510B. Now work this. You have two B terms. Simplify them and find the value of B. B is 5. Now once B is 5, what is A? 19 minus B. So 19 minus 5, which is 14. So the missing frequencies are 14 and 5. All right. You can also do this, children. You can do it in both ways. What is B? What is B? 19 minus A. So what you can do, you can write 510A as it is plus 550. Instead of B, you can take 19 minus A. Instead of B, you can take 19 minus A is equal to 9890. So then you will find A first. You will get A value first. A is 14. And then you should substitute 14 here and you'll get B is equal to 5. You can do anything. From A plus B is equal to 19. You can either write A is equal to 19 minus B, or you can write B is equal to 19 minus A. So instead of A, you can write 19 minus B, or instead of B, you can write 19 minus A and work. All right. Okay, so this is how you find the missing frequencies. In the first case, only one frequency was missing in this question. In this one, only one frequency A was missing. So here we only use the formula sigma Fi Xi is X bar is equal to sigma Fi Xi by sigma Fi. To find one missing frequency, use the formula X bar is equal to sigma Fi Xi by sigma Fi, substitute and get the missing frequency. When you have to find two missing frequencies, then you need to generate two conditions. One is the total of the frequency column is equal to 40. Two frequencies are missing here. So what is the first condition? A plus 9 plus B plus 4 plus 3 plus 5 is equal to 40. From that you get one equation. A plus B is 19. Then the other one is the formula. So substitute, and when you work, see, after simplifying, when you work, you get 510A, 510B is equal to 9890. At this point, what you should do? At this point, what you should do? Instead of A, 19 minus B, or instead of B, 19 minus A. Work and find the value of A or B. So if you find A first, then find B. If you find B first, then find A. All right. Okay, I'll share these images on WhatsApp. Complete this at home. So next class, when you come, you will have a test based on all the portions you've learned till now. So portions will not be sent. Portions will not be sent. Portions will keep accumulating. So next class will be all that you've learned till that class. It's not only the previous class. Till that class, whatever you've learned. All right. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. Online students, you may leave the call.
Thank you, ma'am.
children. Yeah, thank you. Stop the recording.
Excuse me, ma'am.